The recent surge of migrants has put major cities across the U.S. under significant financial pressure. I think it's at this point politically unsustainable for the Biden administration to maintain this unlimited flow into what's essentially a welfare state network of cities like New York, Denver, and Chicago, said Simon Hankinson at the Harif. Think tank based in Washington, D.C. As pressure continues, cities such as Chicago and New York have begun putting restrictions on the busing of some migrants from the South. But experts say more federal assistance and funding are necessary to ensure that cities can survive the ongoing crisis. The current level of federal funding provided to state and local government is a drop in the bucket compared to the need, according to Debut Gandhi, Senior Director of Immigration Policy at the Center for American Progress, a nonpartisan and progressive policy institute. Congress has provided a very small amount of money of $800 million for AFEMA program for the entire country the last fiscal year to assist cities in aiding these newcomers. But cities say that amount is far from enough. For instance, the $145 million allocated to New York City is less than 10% of what the city spent on migrant services in fiscal 2023, according to the Migration Policy Institute, a nonpartisan think tank. This is a whole spectrum of housing, of services needed for people who are new to a place, new to a country, new to a city, said Muzaffar Chisti, a senior fellow at the Migration Policy Institute. These are complicated issues to manage, so the city, the state, and the federal government, frankly, were not prepared for it. Rosalinda posted the stages of the trip on TikTok. The trek in the selva, the jungle, a 5-day walk between Colombia and Panama. Little Isabel, 3, who was told the whole affair was some kind of a road trip, marveling at the sight of monkeys. The family on the roof of the freight train in Mexico. Michelle, the eldest, 14, terrified, clinging to the wagons. She cried all the way to the U.S. border, said her mother. 4 months have passed since then. Rosalinda showed us her photos in the cafeteria of the center where she was staying in Denver, Colorado. Her eldest child had just started school. The youngest was playing under the table with an empty yogurt pot. Mullen House, a former retirement home run by the Little Sisters of the Poor, is a safe haven. At the end of December 2023, at the request of the City Council, the Archdiocese set up 95 rooms for migrants. Almost all are from Venezuela. Many spent a few years in Ecuador or Colombia before setting off on the road to exile in the U.S. A Colorado town voted 7-0 to affirm its status as a non-sanctuary city, amid growing fears that migrants could soon flood the area from nearby Denver. The goal is to make sure that Denver knows that we will not be accepting any busloads of migrants into our community. The main reason is that we don't have a budget that matches theirs, and we won't utilize taxpayer funds for the support of what they've decided to take on themselves as a self-declared sanctuary city. Mitch LeKind, the mayor of Monument, Colorado, said Wednesday on Fox and Friends First. According to the Gazette, a newspaper based in Colorado Springs, the Monument Council reviewed the resolution on Tuesday. It was drafted, in part, by a press conference held by the El Paso County Commissioners and Colorado Springs City Council member Dave Donaldson in response to news of migrants arriving in Colorado Springs. Meanwhile, approximately 40 miles north, the mile-high city grapples with the consequences of unmitigated illegal immigration, its sanctuary status engendering a fiscal and humanitarian crisis that compelled Democratic Mayor Mike Johnston to warn of an approaching breaking point during an exclusive interview with Fox News' Lawrence Jones last month. I think we have successfully welcomed almost 40,000 migrants in the last year, and we know what it takes to do this successfully, Johnston said. We just need that help, and the things we need are federal dollars. But the most important thing is we need work authorization for folks when they arrive. We need those resources at the border so you can add more security at the border, so you can help process those asylum claims, and so the folks that do arrive here can work. LeKind said Wednesday that there is no room for migrants in Monument, addressing co-host Carly Shimka's question concerning those who are making their way to surrounding communities once their allotted stays in Denver have ended. Migrant families are currently allowed to stay in Denver shelters for 42 days, up from the previous 37-day limit imposed by the city. According to the Denver Post, the time limit for individuals, however, is 14 days. If migrants make their way to Monument after the resolution's passing, LaKind said the town administration and police force will work with federal agencies to have them picked up and brought to wherever they would need to be held. LaKind said he would like to see the Biden administration take action by shutting down the border and launching deportation efforts, urging that it's time to reverse course. The president has the power to do that. He's had the power all along. He's chosen not to. Communities around the Denver metro have grappled the past year with large numbers of new immigrant arrivals, a topic that will be a focus of a city council meeting in Aurora on Monday. The resolution regarding the transportation for those experiencing homelessness and migrants into Aurora without an agreement to address the financial impact and coordination of services is an agenda item for its Feb. 26th City Council meeting. The resolution was co-sponsored by council members Danielle Jurinsky, a business owner who chairs the Public Safety and Courts and Civil Service Committees, and Steve Sundberg, who chairs the Water Policy Committee and employs 24 at a local family-owned bar, according to the City Council website. In a telephone interview Friday afternoon, Sundberg said the resolution stemmed from Denver recently transporting new immigrants from there to a hotel in Aurora. After Denver bused 400 migrants to an extended stay hotel in Aurora that caught us off guard, said Sundberg. It brought to us quickly the realization that we were not prepared to take on a number of migrants in our city as a city alone, not a city and county as Denver is. He added that funds are not available to support new immigrants. The reality is that we have a fiscal responsibility and a balanced budget for our current residents, and with the current challenges we face with homelessness, we are limited. He said, if passed, the resolution will let residents know we have a fiscal responsibility. You really can't just bus migrants in here without having an agreement? It might not have actionable teeth, he acknowledged. I believe it's more of a statement than anything, allowing our residents to know where we stand on the issue because they've been inquiring, he added. In reality, we don't have the financial resources to care for them. When asked what he'd like to happen to the newly arrived, Sundberg said, I'd like the federal government to control the border rather than leave it open as it is. Bring our southern border under control, where we have legal immigration in a controlled and vetted manner. We need immigration in Colorado. We value our diverse population, but we can't be overwhelmed. He said Aurora isn't the same as Denver, which is both a city and a county and has more resources. The capital city has helped more than 38,000 new immigrants since 2022, spending about $42 million on temporary shelters and other services. It's an offer of services that Sundberg described as not sustainable. They are cutting into recreation centers, the DMV. What will that look like in 3 months from now? Is that fair? Is that compassionate? Is that humane? Questioned Sundberg. America is still a beacon of hope for a lot of people, but we have to be realistic and not take on more than we can, said Sundberg. Aurora, a city of over 380,000, is considered the most diverse in Colorado with immigrants from many countries. However, the city council voted against Aurora being deemed a sanctuary city in 2017. And I'd like to keep it that way, said Sundberg. Other municipalities have been expressing views that don't contradict Sundberg's. Colorado Springs passed a resolution on Feb. 13, declaring that it is not a sanctuary city. In Lakewood, a city council meeting was attended by more people than usual earlier this month, with those in attendance voicing concerns that it does not follow in the footsteps of Denver. Counties are also sending similar signals. Mesa County's Board of Commissioners this week unanimously passed a resolution declaring itself as a non-sanctuary county, meaning the county won't provide shelter or other services to uninvited migrants or illegal immigrants that may arrive in unincorporated Mesa County. The reasoning offered by county commissioners was that strain on resources prevented them from offering additional assistance to new immigrants. El Paso County commissioners have also declared the area would not become a sanctuary. So far, Aurora hasn't made the financial investment that Denver has. Instead, nonprofit organizations have filled some gaps in services needed by those who have newly arrived, fleeing political dangers in their countries of origin. Monday's City Council meeting is at the Paul Tower Aurora City Council Chamber in the Aurora Municipal Center.